Hi there, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're doing a completely different um, video than I have done before. I kind of dabble here and there with things that I do, um, and I want to go through dumb laws that are still on the books in the United States. Now, the site where I got this from, some of the states had so many that I took out the ones for individual cities, the laws for individual cities, and in others where there weren't as many laws that they were showing, I left the ones for the individual cities. So this is in no way the compendium, the complete um, dumb laws that are still on the books because I wanted to have room for all of them. So without further ado, we're going to get into them and we'll do them in alphabetical order. So first we have Alabama. And with these laws, I assume at some point that there was a reason that these laws were created. Like, some dumb person did the thing and they had to make a law about it. But I do wonder why some of these are still on the books. So, anyway, in Alabama, bear wrestling matches are prohibited. Dominoes may not be played on Sunday. It is illegal for a driver to be blindfolded while operating a vehicle, which makes sense. It is illegal to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church. That just sounds silly. It is legal to drive the wrong way down a one way street if you have a lantern attached to the front of your automobile. Those of you in Alabama remember that one. You cannot chain your alligator to a fire hydrant. Why you would have an alligator is beyond me, but you may not drive barefooted, and you may not have an ice cream cone in your back pocket at any time, which why you would have the ice cream cone in your back pocket eludes me, but there we go. Those are the laws in Alabama. Those are the dumb laws in Alabama. In Alaska, even though it is legal to hunt a bear, it is illegal to wake a bear and take a picture for photo opportunities too. So remember that, people in Alaska. In Alaska, it is illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they are moose hunting. Interesting. It is considered an offense to push a live moose out of a moving airplane. How the moose got on the airplane, I'll never understand. Kangaroos are not allowed in barber shops at any time. How, why a kangaroo would be in Alaska, again, eludes me, but there you go. And moose may not be viewed from an airplane. That one, I don't know how you would stop somebody from looking at a moose from an airplane, but there's the law. Arizona, donkeys cannot sleep in bathtubs. Hunting camels is prohibited. Are there camels in Arizona? It is illegal for men and women over the age of 18 to have less than one missing tooth visible when smiling. Remind me never to go to Arizona because I like my teeth. It is and it is unlawful to refuse a person a glass of water, which in Arizona makes perfect sense because it's hot. In Arkansas, a law provides that school teachers who bob their hair will not get a raise. So I'm going to stay out of Arkansas because I kind of like my hair short. Alligators may not be kept in bathtubs. There's that law again. Arkansas must be pronounced Arkansas. I guess some people do say Arkansas just to be funny, but and in Arkansas it is illegal to buy or sell blue light bulbs. Alrighty then. In California, community leaders passed an ordinance that made it illegal for anyone to try and stop a child from playfully jumping over puddles of water. Why that would need to be made a law I fail to understand. In California, it is illegal to have caller ID. Our cell phones automatically have caller ID, so I guess everyone is breaking the law in California with that one. In California, it is against regulations to let phones ring more than 9 times in state offices. What if you're super busy? It is illegal to cry on the witness stand. Okay. It's illegal to set a mouse trap without a hunting license. You need a hunting license to hunt mice in your own room. Okay. And women may not drive in a house coat. Now, I don't know what constitutes as a house coat, but that's interesting. In Colorado, car dealers may not show cars on a Sunday. In Colorado, it is now legal to remove the furniture tags that say "do not remove" under penalty of law. And I found out the reason why we have those tags. It's so that people won't resell their mattresses, used mattresses. It is illegal to mistreat rats in Denver. Okay. And in Colorado, it's now legal. So apparently that was on there twice. Sorry, I didn't notice that. All right, in Connecticut, a local ordinance in Atwoodville, Connecticut, prohibits people from playing Scrabble while waiting for a politician to speak. That's a very specific law. A pickle is not officially a pickle unless it bounces. I didn't know pickles bounce, but okay. Balloons with advertising on them are illegal in Hartford, Connecticut. In Bloomfield, Connecticut, it's against the law to eat in your car. I'm going to stay out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. In Devon, it's unlawful to walk backwards after sunset. In Guilford, only white Christmas lights are allowed for display. So all those people that like multicolored lights don't live in Guilford, Connecticut. In Hartford, you aren't allowed to cross the street while walking on your hands. Okay. And you may not educate dogs. So I guess you can't train your pets, your dogs specifically in Connecticut, or you're breaking the law. So in Delaware, they prohibit horse racing of any kind on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and it's illegal to get married on a dare. Why anyone would want to get married on a dare is beyond me, but there you go. Don't do it in Delaware. In the District of Columbia, it is illegal to, in Washington, D.C. specifically, it's illegal to post a notice in public which calls another person a coward for refusing to accept a challenge to duel, which we haven't been allowed to duel since the 1800s, well, late 1700s, early 1800s, so while that one is still on the books, I don't understand. It is unlawful for small boys to throw stones at any time, at any place in the District of Columbia, and the U.S. government says it's a crime to give false weather reports. So I guess you can't be a weatherman in the District of Columbia because, a lot of times it is at best a guess what the weather's going to be. So, in Florida, a special law prohibits unmarried women from parachuting on Sunday, or she shall risk arrest, fine, and or jailing. I guess that one was made because they want them to get married and have children before doing something dangerous like that. Florida law forbids rats to leave the ships docked in Tampa Bay, which how they're gonna stop them is beyond me. If an elephant is tied to a parking meter, the parking fee has to be paid just as it would for a vehicle, which, again, I ask why you have an elephant in Florida, but Failure to tell your neighbor his house is on fire is illegal. That just sounds like, you know, being a good neighbor. You know, hey, by the way, if you didn't notice your house is on fire. It is illegal to fish while driving across a bridge. Makes sense. It is illegal to skateboard without a license. Okay. Women may be fined for falling asleep under a hairdryer, as can the salon owner. I don't understand that law, but okay. And you are not allowed to break more than 3 dishes per day or chip the edges of more than 4 cups and or saucers. So I guess don't get mad and start throwing your china. In Georgia, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced these city names, Ackworth, all citizens must use a rake. For what? I'm not sure. It is against the law to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole or a street lamp. Again, where are we getting these weird animals in the States? Donkeys may not be kept in bathtubs. There's that one again. In Gainesville, chicken must be eaten with hands. Okay. It's illegal in Georgia to use profanity in the presence of a corpse, which doesn't make sense because they can't hear you, but whatever. In Quitman, it's illegal for a chicken to cross the road. Oof, okay. In Jonesboro, it's illegal to say, oh boy. And in Marietta, though it is illegal to spit from a car or bus, citizens may spit from a truck. So, very specific law. In Hawaii, all residents may be fined as a result of not owning a boat. I guess you gotta be pretty darn rich to live in Hawaii. Coins are not allowed to be placed in one's ears. Why would you do that? In Honolulu, within the limits of any public park, it's unlawful to annoy any bird, and it's illegal to get a tattoo behind your ear or on your eyelids unless in the presence of a registered physician, which I guess I could understand where that law came from. They want you to be safe. All right. Idaho. In Boise, residents may not fish from a giraffe's back. Again, where are we getting these wild animals? Giraffes, elephants, alligators? Where are we getting them? In Idaho Falls, if you're 88 years of age or older, it's illegal for you to ride on your motorcycle. So remember that, people in Idaho. Idaho state law makes it illegal for a man to give his sweetheart a box of candy weighing less than 50 pounds. That is a lot of candy. I'd probably eat through it in like 2 days. And riding a merry-go-round on Sundays is considered a crime. Okay. In Illinois, a state law mandates that all bachelors should be called master, not Mr., when addressed by their female counterparts. Yeah, no, thank you. According to state law, it's illegal to speak English. The official recognized language is American, which doesn't exist. But okay, Illinois. It is illegal for anyone to give lighted cigars to dogs, cats, or other domesticated animals kept as pets. In Chicago, it is also illegal to take a French poodle to the opera. Law provides eating in a place that's on fire. Why you would want to stay in the place that's on fire, I don't understand. And you may be convicted of a Class 4 felony offense punishable up to 3 years in prison for the crime of eavesdropping on your own conversation. How do you eavesdrop on your own conversation? How would you even prove that? Okay, Illinois. In Indiana, spiteful gossip and talking behind a person's back are illegal, which sounds great in theory, but again, how do you prove that? How do you make that work? All males 18 to 50 years old must work 6 days a year on public roads. I wonder if that's still a thing. That's interesting. Back in 1924, a monkey was convicted in South Bend of smoking a cigarette and sentenced to pay a $25 fine and the trial costs. Now, where the monkey might have gotten the money, I don't know, but interesting. Bathing is prohibited during the winter, so I guess that you're just getting all kinds of nasty in the winter if you can't bathe. Citizens are not allowed to attend a cinema or theater, nor ride in a public streetcar within at least 4 hours after eating garlic. It's against the law to pass a horse on the street. Okay. This one's very, very specific. Hotel sheets must be exactly 99 inches long and 81 inches wide. The next one, if a person has a puppet show, wire dancing, or tumbling act in the state of Indiana and receives money for it, they'll be fined $3 under the act of under the act to prevent certain immoral practices. So it's immoral to do a puppet show or a tumbling act? Okay. And no one may catch a fish with his bare hands. Okay. In Iowa, a man with a mustache may never kiss a woman in public. Horses are forbidden to eat fire hydrants in Marshalltown, Iowa. How are they eating the fire hydrants? Okay. In Fort Madison, the fire department is required to practice firefighting for 15 minutes before attending a fire. That seems a waste of time. And in Ottumwa, it is unlawful for any male person within the corporate limits of the city to wink at any female person with whom he is unacquainted. Okay. In Kansas City specifically, saying the name George Washington without adding the phrase "blessed be his name" can land you a fine of up to 50 cents. I think I could pay that. Sometimes. Usually I don't even have change. In Lawrence, all cars entering the city limits must first sound their horn to warn the horses of their arrival. I guess this is a different one. No one may wear a bee in their hat. What if the bee just settled on her hat and you didn't know? It's illegal to catch bullfrogs in a tomato patch. It's illegal to hunt whales. Now, where they're getting whales in Kansas, I don't know. And it's illegal to put ice cream on cherry pie. All right. In Kentucky, every citizen of Kentucky is required to take a shower once a year. Hopefully you do it more than that. In Owensboro, a woman may not buy a hat without her husband's permission. And it's illegal in Kentucky to marry the same man more than 3 times, which, if you didn't get the hint the first time, you know what they say about the shame on me. You know, shame on you, shame on me. I don't remember the whole saying. In Louisiana, an old ordinance declares goatees illegal unless you pay a special license fee for the privilege of wearing one in public. Biting someone with your natural teeth is simple assault, while biting someone with your false teeth is aggravated assault. I wonder why there's that difference between natural and false teeth. It's illegal to gargle in public places. It's illegal for a woman to drive a car unless her husband is waving a flag in front of it. Wow. Saying women are bad drivers in Louisiana. And mourners at a wake may not eat more than 3 sandwiches. What if you're really hungry, though? In Maine, after January 14th, you will be charged a fine for having your Christmas decorations still up. I wonder if they actually enforce that law. In Augusta, to stroll down the street playing a violin is against the law. In Portland, shoelaces must be tied while walking down the street. In Waterville, Maine, it's illegal to blow one's nose in public. Lord have mercy. And it is unlawful to tickle a woman's chin with a feather duster in Portland. All right, Maine, you got some strange laws. In Maryland, in Baltimore City, though you may spit on the city roadway, spitting on city sidewalks is prohibited. You may not curse inside the city limits. Okay. Eating while swimming in the ocean is prohibited. Can you get to the ocean in Maryland? Okay. In Baltimore, it's illegal to mistreat oysters. Also in Baltimore, it's illegal to wash or scrub sinks no matter how dirty they get. Oh my Lord. And lastly, in Baltimore, it's illegal to take a lion to the movies. Again, with the strange animals. Where are we getting a lion? Why would we take it to the movies? It is a violation to be in a public park with a sleeveless shirt. It's a $10 fine. And you cannot throw a bale of hay out of a second-story window in Annapolis. In Massachusetts, at a wake, mourners may not eat more than 3 sandwiches. Okay, there's that law again. It is unlawful to deliver diapers on Sunday, regardless of emergencies. You must have a license to wear a goatee. If you get caught eating peanuts in church, you may be jailed for up to 1 year. It's illegal to frighten a chicken. It is illegal to put tomatoes in clam chowder. What if you like tomatoes? I don't. It's illegal to keep a mule on the second floor of a building not in a city unless there are 2 exits. No gorilla is allowed in the back seat of a car. Again, wild animal that is just crazy. Snoring is prohibited unless all bedroom windows are closed and securely. You can't help if you snore. And some people don't know that they snore. And defacing a milk carton is prohibited by a $10 fine. In Minnesota, a Michigan law states that a wife's hair legally belongs to her husband. No, thank you. A woman isn't allowed to cut her own hair without her husband's permission. Again, no, thank you. A person may not cross state lines with a duck atop his head. All bathtubs must have feet. All men driving motorcycles must wear shirts. Every man in Brainerd, Minnesota, is required by law to grow a beard. So if you can't grow a beard, stay out of Brainerd. Hamburgers may not be eaten on Sundays. And it is illegal to tease skunks, which why you'd want to tease a skunk, I don't understand, but there you go. In Mississippi, Temperance, Mississippi, you cannot walk a dog without dressing it in a diaper. It's illegal to drive around the town square more than 100 times in a single session. And in Tylertown, it's unlawful to shave in the center of Main Street. Okay, Mississippi. In Missouri, in Excelsior Springs, hard objects may not be thrown by hand. Worrying squirrels is not tolerated. 4 women may not rent an apartment together. Why does that constitute a brothel? It is illegal to speed, doy, and in Purdy, dancing is strictly prohibited. In Montana, it is a felony for a wife to open her husband's mail, and balls may not be thrown within the city limits. So they don't have a lot of crazy laws. In Nebraska, a man is not allowed to run around with a shaved chest. A parent can be arrested if his or her child cannot hold back a burp during a church service. Wow. It's illegal for a mother to give her daughter a perm without a state license. In Lehi, donut holes may not be sold. And in Waterloo, barbers are forbidden from eating onions between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. In Nevada, in Elko, everyone walking the streets is required to wear a mask. In Las Vegas, it's against the law to pawn your dentures, and it's also illegal to drive a camel on the highway. Again, where are we getting a camel in Nevada? I don't know. Weird. In New Hampshire, if a person is caught raking the beaches, picking up litter, hauling away trash, building a bench for the park, or many other kind things without a permit, he or she may be fined $150 for maintaining the national forest without a permit. Wow. Okay. The law also forbids you to tap your feet, nod your head, or in any way keep time to the music in a tavern, restaurant, or cafe. Some people can't help it. And you may not run machinery on Sundays. In New Jersey, automobiles are not to pass horse-drawn carriages on the street. It's illegal to delay or detain a homing pigeon. It's illegal to slurp soup. It is against the law for a man to knit during the fishing season. It's against the law to frown at a police officer. Oh my, don't have a bad day around police officers. In New Jersey, it's illegal to delay or detain a homing pigeon. There's that. Oh, apparently it was on there twice. Excuse me. And you cannot pump your own gas. All gas stations are full service and full service only. I do wonder if that's still the case in New Jersey. In New Mexico, a city council member in Albuquerque introduced a resolution a few years ago to ban Santa Claus from the city. The matter was defeated. In Albuquerque, it's illegal for cab drivers to reach out and pull potential customers into their cabs. And in Las Cruces, you may not carry a lunchbox down Main Street. Okay. In New York, they had the most, I believe. A fine of $25 can be levied for flirting. A license must be produced before hanging clothes on a clothesline. Citizens may not greet each other by putting one's thumb to the nose and wiggling the fingers. Oh my. Donkeys are not allowed to sleep in bathtubs in Brooklyn. There's that law again. During a concert, it is illegal to eat peanuts and walk backwards on the sidewalk. In New York, you can teach your parrot to speak, but not to squawk. Don't they do that naturally? In New York City, it's illegal to shake a dust mop out of a window. It's against the law to throw a ball at someone's head for fun. Jaywalking is legal as long as it's not diagonal. That is, if you cross the street out of the crosswalk, you cannot cross the street. You can cross the street out of the crosswalk, but you cannot cross the street diagonally. Slippers are not to be worn after 10 p.m. And while riding in an elevator, one must not talk to anyone. Fold his hands while looking toward the door. Okay, no human interaction in New York and there. In North Carolina, elephants may not be used to plow cotton fields. It seems that would make things easier to plow. But again, where are we getting an elephant in North Carolina? In Asheville, it's illegal to sneeze on city streets. In Raleigh, before a man asks a woman's hand in marriage, he must be inspected by all the barnyard animals on the young woman's family property to ensure harmonious farm life. In Nag's Head, you can be fined for singing out of tune for more than 90 seconds. And in Kill Devil Hills, you may not ride a bicycle without having both your hands on the handlebar. In North Dakota, in Fargo, you may be jailed for wearing a hat while dancing, or even for wearing a hat to a function where dancing is taking place. It's illegal to keep an elk in the sandbox in your backyard. Where are we getting elk in North Dakota? I guess they might come down from Canada. I don't know. In Waverly, you better not let your horse near the tub since horses are prohibited from sleeping in them as well as in the house. Okay, so not donkeys, horses in North Dakota. And it is illegal to lie down and fall asleep with your shoes on. Give me a break. In Ohio, according to Ohio law, it's against the law to kill a housefly within 160 feet of a church without a license. It is legal to throw a snake at someone, but it's illegal to shake a snake at someone. Very clear delineation. Items left on a tree lawn becomes city property. What's a tree lawn? I don't know. No one may be arrested on Sunday or on the 4th of July, and you may not run out of gas. What if you didn't know you were that low, or you just can't get to a... I mean, there are a lot of reasons to run out of gas. In Oklahoma, the city ordinance states that it shall be unlawful to put any hypnotized person in a display window. Okay. People who make ugly faces at dogs may be fined or jailed. It is against the law to read a comic book while operating a motor vehicle. It's illegal to wear your boots to bed. Again, why are you dictating what I can and cannot do in my own bed? Oklahoma will not tolerate anyone taking a bite out of another's hamburger, which, I mean, you sound like a real menace if you're eating another person's hamburgers. Tattoos are banned. Okay. And tissues are not to be found in the back of one's car. In Oregon, dishes must drip dry. In Hood River, juggling is strictly prohibited without a license. It's against the law for a marriage ceremony to be performed at a skating rink. My goodness. Ministers are forbidden from eating garlic or onions before delivering a sermon. In Myrtle Creek, one may not box with a kangaroo. Okay. People may not whistle underwater. Why would you want to? And in Salem, women may not wrestle. In Pennsylvania, there's a special cleaning ordinance that bans homemakers from hiding dirt and dust under a rug and a toilet. Oh my gosh. All fire hydrants must be checked 1 hour before all fires. But you don't know when there's going to be a fire, so how do you do... Okay. If a motorist sees a horse coming down the road, the driver must pull off to the side of the road and cover the vehicle with canvas. Okay. If the horse is still scared, the driver must get out of the car and take it apart until the horse isn't scared anymore. Why would you take apart your car? Like, I don't understand. It's illegal to sleep on top of a refrigerator outdoors, and you may not catch fish by any body part except the mouth. I'm going to have to pass on that last one. In Rhode Island, in Providence, it's illegal to sell toothpaste and a toothbrush to the same customer on a Sunday. In Shuitate, again, sorry if I mispronounced that, it's illegal to keep a flock of chickens in your motorhome if you live in a trailer park, and it is considered an offense to throw pickle juice on a trolley. In South Carolina, by law, if a man promises to marry an unmarried woman, the marriage must take place. So be careful about promising to marry someone in South Carolina, men. Every adult male must bring a rifle to church on Sunday in order to ward off Indian attacks. That just sounds extremely racist, and why is that still on the books? Merchandise may not be sold within a half mile of a church unless fruit is being sold. Musical instruments may not be sold on Sunday. No work may be done on Sunday. An exception is that light bulbs may be sold. Performing a U-turn within 1,000 feet of an intersection is illegal, and railroad companies may be held liable in some instances for scaring horses. In South Dakota, they only had one. It's illegal to lie down and fall asleep in a cheese factory. Again, somebody had to have done that for that law to exist. In Tennessee, driving is not to be done while asleep. Makes perfect sense. Hollow logs may not be sold. In Memphis, it's illegal for a woman to drive a car unless there is a man either running or walking in front of it, waving a red flag to warn approaching motorists and pedestrians. Okay, again, Tennessee, we're saying women drivers are bad drivers with that. It is illegal to catch a fish with a lasso. It is illegal for frogs to croak after 11 p.m. And it is illegal to shoot game outside of a moving vehicle unless it's a whale. And if there's a whale in Tennessee, that you can shoot outside of a moving vehicle, I'm going to do it. In Texas, a city ordinance states that a person cannot go barefoot without first obtaining a special $5 permit. A recently passed anti-crime law requires criminals to give their victims 24 hours notice either orally or in writing to explain the nature of the crime to be committed. How do you carry out a law like that? I don't understand. It's illegal to milk another person's cow. There's an old law in Texas that states if you are unable to tuck your pants into one boot and you are unable to tuck your pants into one boot unless you own 10 or more cattle, and you can be legally married by publicly introducing a person as your husband or wife 3 times. So be careful about that in Texas. In Utah, birds have the right of way on all highways. Okay. It's illegal to fish from horseback. The husband is responsible for every criminal act committed by his wife while she is in his presence. It's illegal to not drink milk. But what if you're lactose intolerant, like I am? In Provo, throwing snowballs may result in a $50 fine. And in Salt Lake, no one may walk down the street carrying a paper bag containing a violin. Very specific law. In Virginia, children are not to go trick-or-treating on Halloween. I guarantee they still do. In Culpeper, no one may wash a mule on the sidewalk. In Christiansburg, it's illegal to imitate a police whistle. In Richmond, it's illegal to flip a coin in a restaurant to see who pays for coffee. I guess you need to do that beforehand. Swearing at someone over the phone in Virginia is punishable by a $100 fine. And there was once a law in Salem that made it illegal to leave home without knowing where you were going. I do that so many times. In Washington, all lollipops are banned. In the state of Washington, it's illegal to catch a fish by throwing a rock at it. They do not allow fake wrestling, and in Wilbur, you may not ride an ugly horse. Who gets to decide if the horse is ugly, though? In West Virginia, according to the state constitution, it's unlawful for anyone to own a red or black flag. Okay. If you wear a hat inside the theater, you may be fined. It's illegal to snooze on a train. It's unlawful for chickens to lay eggs between 8 and 4 p.m. How are you going to stop them? And no children may attend school with their breath smelling of wild onions. We've got a lot of garlic themed laws. In Wisconsin, at one time, margarine was illegal. Cheese making requires a cheesemaker's license. Limburger cheese making requires a master cheese making license. Okay. You are allowed to marry your house. Marry your house. Oh, okay. After 3 a.m., if you have to send a rocket signal in the air after every mile you drive. Guess we have a lot of rockets. Okay. And it is illegal to cut a woman's hair or to kiss on a train. Just throwing that in there. In Wyoming, Cheyenne citizens may not take showers on Wednesdays. It's illegal to tattoo a horse with the intent of making it unrecognizable to its owner, and you may not take a picture of a rabbit during the month of June. I wonder why that's specific. During June, you can't take a picture of a rabbit. That's interesting. And that is all of them. I want to know which one you think was the weirdest law. If you please, and if you like this content, please like my video and stick around for more. I do not post regularly. I'm very sorry about that, but when I do, you'll see it. Bye.